So here we go, Steps of War.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep this. So Steps of War, Cheese is versus BigBadBeaver. Cheese really high in the US server right now.
Yeah, I actually got a quick look. It looks like he has over 1,500 points in the Diamond Division, or League.
Yeah. So he's easily seeded #1 in my tournament right now, which is what I seeded him in.
Alright, so we do have Cheese, the red Protoss, spawning on the top right of Steps of War, and we have BigBadBeaver spawning as the blue or the green Protoss rather, on the bottom left.
Yes, so hold on. You keep commentating while I update this bracket.
Alright, so as we all know, this map is very, very short. Not much to talk about at the beginning, except the map. If only us casters had a magic button to make it go faster until around 14 food. That's when the gateway goes down. But a lot of people in Protoss versus Protoss have been going these 4-gate builds, or at least variations of it, into things like either Colossi or Phoenixes. But it looks like Cheese is going to go around or look around for proxies, while BigBadBeaver is just going to go for that straight scout.
Yes, so pylon coming out from both players. BigBadBeaver having the pylon by the Nexus, while Cheese having it a bit outer, not so out that it's on the ramp. There goes the gateway, and same thing for BigBadBeaver. So, whoa, okay, BigBadBeaver's rally point straight to the ramp, and Cheese hasn't set his on the gateway.
Well, I mean, a lot of people haven't been doing 2 gates in Protoss vs. Protoss, and I'm still not sure why that has become not popular anymore. In the beta, a lot of people who are doing these 2-gate builds where they just go with straight zealots and try and win, but it looks like they're just going to get the standard gas and probably just going to go straight into some sort of tech path.
Beaver's gas is a bit later than Cheese's, and here comes Beaver's probe being very annoying. Attacking one of Cheese's probe, but not only doing half of the shield, so that's going to regenerate pretty quickly. Gateway is now completed with Zealot being made back at Cheese's base. No Zealot. That's interesting. Cybernetics core is coming up for Cheese, and looking back at Beavers, with that, since he got the extra Zealot, that Cybernetics core is a bit later.
Yeah, looking at the at Cheese's base, we do see that Zealot now coming out. It's a bit delayed, but we did see BigBadBeaver chrono boost that, and the Zealot has actually rallied directly to Cheese's base, so that's definitely going to be interesting. Going to do some early pressure, getting that second gas down. Looks like going to be still pretty standard, but this Zealot, yeah, Cheese's Zealot will be out in time, and even getting that second Stalker just as the Cybernetics core finishes, and I'm not sure how effective this Zealot's going to be. I mean, he's already got his probe in there for scouting. I'm just not sure what's going on.
So here comes the Zealot from BigBadBeaver. Stalker coming up for Cheese here. Don't know what's the Zealot gonna do, but Cheese here gonna start rallying his units to that Zealot. Cheese having great pro micro, moving away the damage ones. Beaver did get 1 probe, 2 probes. There we go. So that Zealot does make up for itself in cost-wise, at least.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that he was able to do that much damage, but definitely a good exchange. If you can get the same amount for your units than your opponent's probes, and you've definitely made it worthwhile. And we do see a robotics facility going up 1-gate robo. That's definitely interesting, coming from Cheese, and looks like we're seeing the exact same thing from BigBadBeaver, so perfect mirrors so far. Both players are just about to finish that warp gate technology, and I'm definitely interested to see if anybody is going to do some variation.
This is pretty much mirror. Cheese taking up the top Xel'Naga, Beaver taking out the bottom Xel'Naga. Beaver did lose a Zealot, but Cheese did lose 2 probes. So looking at the units lost, yes, resources exact same.
Yeah, I mean, we see both players throwing down an additional gateway as well, so still mimicking each other. It looks like some sort of differentiating from the 2-gate robo. It looks like a 3rd gateway going down for Cheese, and not a 3rd one started quite yet for BigBadBeaver, but I would assume that it would be coming eventually, and we do see an observer from both players rallied directly to each other's base.
Yes, these two players are mimicking each other, but there is a difference. Cheese does have 3 workers over Beaver, which is surprising since he did lose 2 workers. But Robotics Bay and Stargate. Stargate for Beaver, Robotics Bay for Cheese, and here comes the differentiation. And Cheese does put down an offensive pylon.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good position. I've seen a lot of players use the high ground to their advantage so it doesn't get spotted, but we do see that Stargate going down for BigBadBeaver. I'm not sure what he's going to do with it. He might just got that robotics facility for that scout, but we do see the robotics bay coming out. And has BigBadBeaver scouted this? Yes, yet no. His observer is just now heading to Cheese's base, but Cheese also does not have the scout at all in his in BigBadBeaver's base, so both players are playing in the dark right now. And we do see Phoenixes coming out as that Stargate as well.
That was amazing play from Beaver there, using his observer and stalker to take out Cheese's observer. So Cheese now unable to get the scout in for his observer die, but Beaver does get his scout in. Colossus is coming up for Cheese here. Yes, again, Phoenixes are coming out. Phoenixes against Colossus. Colossus will lose. Extended Thermal Lance coming up for Cheese, and that observer of Beavers, once he sees that robotics bay, he must be happy.
Yeah, I mean, his build was just perfect for what Cheese is doing, and I'm not sure Cheese really needs to get that scout in for these Phoenixes. They're already 2 out, 3rd one is on the way, still continuing to chrono boost those and just making units. Still nothing else coming from the robotics facility, but we do see another gateway coming down for BigBadBeaver. Meanwhile, in Cheese's base, we have that extended thermal lance upgrade being chrono boosted. And also, 1 Colossus is already out, and another observer is on the way. Alright, so guess he really needs that scout, and he's definitely doing the right thing, but it looks like BigBadBeaver is going to push out across the map.
Yes, push out with 2 Phoenixes. Note that Cheese has the only anti-airs are the 2 Stalkers and 1 Sentry. That's very little anti-air. And yes, the 2 observers cease each other, and oh, Cheese does not lose the observer. Oh, very close. But here comes the 3 Phoenixes. It's gonna most likely go straight for that Colossus. But Cheese using the 2 Stalkers, trying to try to war off the Phoenixes. But that Phoenix is focusing down on that Colossus. That Colossus shield's already gone, but it's shooting its flames, laser things. And that Colossus is so close to dying.
Oh, he needs to snipe, and there it goes down. It looks like Cheese is actually going to come out ahead. It looks like those Zealots did great work on those Stalkers in the meantime, but the thing is that those Phoenixes took that Colossus out, but the second one has now popped out. Looking at the units lost, yeah, actually BigBadBeaver is now behind. He really needs, and where are his units back at home? It looks like he was going to expand, and this gateway hasn't been quite turned into a warp gate yet. He really needs these units right now, but it looks like this might be a lot of trouble for BigBadBeaver.
She's using that pile on the top ground, on the high ground, warping in units to the low ground. Now here comes his push, Stalker Zealot, and 1 Colossus. That is going to do a lot of damage. 2 Phoenix is going to start hitting that Colossus, but this Colossus is still doing a lot of damage. It's moving back. Oh, Phoenix gets taken down, so the Colossus is still alive. These Zealots, a lot more Zealots. It's going to do a lot of damage, going straight for those Stalkers. This Colossus is still up in the field. Cheese could go straight for the probe line for all he cares.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not looking good. He's trying to micro these Stalkers, trying to snipe the Colossus. Oh, it does go down, but it looks like he just doesn't have the units to take care of this. He is warping in more Zealots, trying to deal with the threat, but it looks like an Immortal popping out, and a second one is on the way, trying to get as much damage as possible, but those Stalkers just do way too much to it. Even another Phoenix popping out, that's definitely not good. Could have used that on some more units from the gateways, but it looks like just warping more Stalkers, trying his best to hold this off, but the economy of Cheese is just too good. He is going to take him over, and I think this might be game here.
Yes, this is still way too much units for BigBadBeaver to handle. I believe Cheese is still warping in units with that offensive pylon, but right now he's just microing away more Phoenixes from BigBadBeaver. Don't know why. Really could use maybe even a Void Ray. Oh, 1 Warp Gate gets unpowered. That's really, really bad right now.
Yeah, and now it's just down to this one last pylon that's powering every single thing except for the Stargate, which is still surprisingly making Phoenixes. Nothing quite yet, but he looks like he is going to fend this off, or maybe, yes, it looks like he's going to fend this off. Cheese is just going to happily back off and expand.
Yes, the Cheese is just playing it safe, getting that big advantage with that expansion. Another Colossus is going to come in, most likely going to wait for that Colossus before pushing in once again.
Yeah, it looks like the aggression is going to be kept up, and look, he only has one Zealot, one Immortal, and 2 Stalkers, but it looks like some more Stalkers are going to be warped in, but this Immortal is going to fall before doing much of anything, and this Colossus is just going to start making short work of the rest of the units.
Keep commentating for a second, I'm updating brackets.
And there's the GG, yeah. He just didn't have the composition. He had the composition, but he didn't. He scrounged on those gateway units, and he really need something to support those Phoenixes in taking out those Colossi.
Yeah, so Cheese is moving up, and I'm just going to update the brackets a bit.